Welcome everybody to OBF1's Monday Multiplayer Championship, otherwise known as the Power Ranger League. My name is Webbo. I will be your commentator for the last time, at least for the foreseeable future, on this league. But I'm hoping for a typical entertaining race from our guys. Joining me tonight is not Carrera fan. He has some other stuff to do today, but I've got no lesser a co-commentator to be with me. This is our experienced F1 racer, my podcast partner, and a very frequent co-commentator. It's Branch Manch. Hey, Branch.
What's going on, Webbo? How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. I'm really excited to see what you make of this league and the setup. We have a red, a blue, a yellow, and a green team, and they compete live on track with four or five drivers each for championship points. There is an adjusted championship point count as well, so more finishers receive points. Although we haven't really got into that too much because, as you'll be well aware, Branch, in this new iteration of the game, it's pretty hard to get lots of people to finish a race at the moment.
Yeah, we've commentated on a few races so far in this game, and almost all of them have multiple safety cars. In fact, I think all of the races I've commentated on have had at least two safety cars. So I don't expect anything less from this league. Not to say that they are bad drivers, just that's the nature of this new game. I'm excited because I have a little bit of information on this league. I know it's team-based. I don't know much more about it, but I'm excited nonetheless to get going.
Yeah, some different formats as well. We head straight into a race after a single one-shot qualifying event, so we have to be pretty quick on our toes to get our screens set up. So bear with us if we can't quite get there exactly everywhere for everybody perfectly first time, but we try and focus on the action in front of us far more than anything else. So in terms of this championship, we're into our fifth race, and after our four races, we've had a torrid time for the yellow team. The yellow team, they've had various different people swapping in and out, and it hasn't really improved their luck any. They've had some of the most appalling luck I've seen on a consistent basis on this game. They are at the bottom of the championship, no surprise there. Only 40 points to their name so far. Leading the championship is the blue team on 144 points, with a massive swing in their favour in the last race from the red team, who have perhaps some more consistent front runners and some more consistent pole sitters, particularly in the form of H. Taylor, who's the one to watch in terms of qualifying almost always. And then the green team, they're in 96 points. H. Taylor, I think, still heads the driver's standings. He does by 9 points to the blue team's Chris Samet. Then we have Little Jim, the head of the league, in the green team on 51 points. We've got CDM on 37, Paul Harrison, another front-running and very quick driver, on 29 points. So you can see the championship's stretching out already, but just getting enough cars to the end of the race is a huge challenge, Branch. We're looking at heading off to Austria and the Red Bull Ring, so that's always fun for a bit of action.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of my more favorite tracks in the F1 games. Very, very quick, and it also has a bit of difficulty in the way that it's very, very hard to save ERS at this track.
Right.
You really have to be careful where you use it. You have to be careful where you're not using it, and it becomes a very tactical game that the drivers have to play.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. A lot of balancing the exact correct moment to challenge another driver on the straight, using the DRS, using the ERS when you've got it available and you've managed to recover some. Tactically, it's a fascinating race, no doubt at all. We're just collecting. I think we're waiting on our final driver, and the green lights are just lighting up, so we should be underway any moment.
All right. So I assume since this is a team-based league that what kind of racing will we see if we have teammates going against each other on track?
So it depends on the team. Some teams are typically a little bit better at cooperating than others. We've definitely seen some good, strategic differences where where a team member will recognise for themselves that they don't have the pace at that point in the race and let their teammate go. We haven't seen anything in the realm of more underhand team versus team tactics. And we've definitely seen some accidents between teammates. So it's been a bit of a mix, and I think the teams are just kind of learning to play nicely with each other. One of the big advantages of a team-based game is that you've got lots of teammates, and one of the big disadvantages of it is that you've got lots of teammates to look out for and not crash into. So there's 3 times as many teammates for you to avoid on track. It's a little bit dicey, a little bit difficult, especially those early laps. So yeah, look forward to it because this should be a good one.
All right, all right. Oh, and we have rain.
Excellent. Yeah, we've not seen much rain this weekend, so a wet track for qualifying that should that should be even more intriguing and make our job of following the league car even that much more difficult. So the Power Ranger gifs are going all over the race day chat as well. So
yeah, this track isn't necessarily too much. It's not that much more difficult in the wet. But obviously, you have to be much more careful in these kinds of conditions. So
looks like we're about to go.
Here we go.
It takes me a hot minute to get to the front of the grid and watch the driver. Looks like Harv in the early laps, in the early sector, getting a good drive away. Let's get up that grid. Taylor, I have mentioned he's usually pretty quick. Everybody on inters. So let's follow Taylor. He's already in pole, but a little overspeed moment. I'll let you take this through as we join Harv, who's got a better drive out of turn 2 branch.
All right, heading into this turn 4, I believe, takes a lot of the curve on the entry, misses the apex kind of, didn't really carry a lot of speed through there. Maybe could have carried a little bit more, but nonetheless, he's still in first. A lot of curb here. Slow, not very heavy braking through this corner, kind of just rotates the car through, not a lot of throttle used. Same thing with this corner. He washes a little bit wide, so maybe lost a little bit of time there. Takes the curb, and it looks like Taylor may have taken the lead for pole at the moment. Diving it through into this corner. Harv may have carried a little bit more speed into the last corner.
This is really close.
Harv lost a little bit on the exit, so Taylor's going to take it at the line.
Wow! Less than 400th of a second, Taylor takes his traditional place at the front of the field, but Harv pushed him all the way, and there were mistakes aplenty. We've seen 2 drivers crash out, and we've seen 2 drivers 3 seconds off the pace at the front of the grid. But it's all about managing risk versus reward, Branch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think Harv might have actually had the pole there, but on the exit of the final corner, he got onto that curb, and when he tried to get off, the car just unsettled enough for him to lose out. You see, he only lost out by 400ths.
So Harv is actually representing the blue team tonight. So we'll try and remember that because his icon's the wrong color. But Taylor from Harv, Chris Summit for the second for the blue team, then Mitch CDM again for blue. A good strong quali for blue. It's Lewis in the yellow team in 6th, Little Jim for greens, Paul Harrison, Steven Tino, Safkov. I've not seen Safkov before. Then for Tia, Eat My Dust, Mogi, Mr. Spin, Golden Wolf, AJM, SR Sanchez, Mosha, and then I couldn't read the rest of them. Should be good and a strong start for our championship leading blue team at the moment, Branch.
Yeah, absolutely. They got 2 drivers on the podium. You said Harv was a blue team driver, right?
He is, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So looks fairly dry for the race, I believe. Are they using Parc Ferme, or can they change their setup in between the quality?
I believe they're on Parc Ferme. Yeah.
Okay, so that will be an interesting strategy in of itself. See which drivers may have compromised their race for qualifying, and which drivers have compromised their qualifying for the race.
Absolutely. We'll have to get going pretty sharpish, Branch, so it'd be good if you could take somewhere near the rear of the grid and let us know if any drama occurs, and I'll try and stay near the front where the headlines are made. But it's always good to have a second pair of eyes at the back of the grid on this front. Look out particularly for team on team action, because we definitely want to keep everyone abreast of that. Chris Summit is watching on the feed at the same time. We've got 5 lights, and it's lights out and go at OBF1's multiplayer Monday. Great start from Harv. He's away in the lead. He's got the inside line already, and the blue team take the lead. Harv turned round, collected Taylor, Paul Harrison as well potentially, and all the way down the back of the field they go. CDM laughing in the helmet. He's up there in first place already, Branch.
Yeah, that was a very interesting first turn. Contact in the back. Green team driver of Mosh making contact with Mr. Spin in the back. Already penalties being thrown around by the stewards at the moment.
Right.
I know Mogi got disqualified for parking in a dangerous place. I don't know what could have caused that. Nonetheless, we've got some great battling going on throughout the field right now.
Absolutely. We've got double yellow sectors, but we might live to get through this lap. A lot of action in the 4th, 5th, 6th position. These guys have been very, very close. We've got the 2 blue teammates next to each other. And they fly towards turn 9.
Wow,
does everybody get through? I don't know. Yeah. We got 36 laps to run, everyone. The fastest lap is up there by CDM at this stage. He's gapping the field, and it's Lewis from his starting position. That's got to be pretty fun to be all the way up there for the yellow team. He's going to need to keep that, as H. Taylor is on his way back up the field already. I can see him making places.
Yeah, he's already up into 12th place. Oh, contact between the 6th man and the 7th man, Paul Harrison, and FTH, I believe is the name. Making contact going into turn 3.
I was watching Little Jim and Chris Samet and Safkov here just banging wheels on the way through one of the right-handers. So it's all going on. Eat My Dust making up a move there on Mr. Spin, it looks like, potentially. As
contact made! Mr. Spin is spun! That's ironic.
Mr. Spun, absolutely. Not for the first time. In fact, he gave himself that name after one of the original, one of the early races. So, yeah, he's down in 16th right now, but no terminal damage at least, Branch.
Yeah, I gotta mention CDM just at the fastest lap. He is incredibly quick right now, gapping second place by 2.5 seconds already through the first couple laps. His DRS has been enabled now. Right now he's just cruising. I don't know if he's going to be able to gap any more, but with the fact that he has already lost DRS, he's going to have a pretty good chance of doing that.
Yeah, you get away from DRS here. It's difficult to do, but once you do, the race really comes to you, and you can afford to run your own pace. We've got double DRS going into turn 4 between Chris Samet and Paul Harrison, both attacking with DRS. I think Chris Samet's going to lose DRS on Little Jim, which now Paul Harrison gets by on the inside of turn 7. Nice move. Always nice to see a move around there.
Safkov is off. I didn't get to see what happened, but he has spun coming out of, I believe that is turn 5 or turn 6.
Interesting.
Oh, and he spun dead.
Oh, that's so easily done. Mogi calling for a restart. I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately, Mogi. I think everyone else is running. We've got 19 runners on lap 14. It's CDM in the lead from Lewis, Little Jim and Paul Harrison. 4 different colours in the top 4, which is excellent stuff. It's exactly what we want to see. Chris Samet chasing down Paul Harrison now, trying to resume battle as he comes alongside as they head into turn 3. Gets alongside and past before the braking zone. There will be another DRS zone for him to manage the gap here. Mogi isn't happy in the YouTube channel, unfortunately. But look, Paul Harrison got round again. These two are trading position, but no contact yet. Steven Tino for the yellow team. The second yellow car on the grid is in 7th place. He's hounding the back of Fatir in the green car. Reliably of Form Branch, his name is pronounced Fatir. He's taken all the vowels out of his name. So just to make life extra easy. So yeah.
Yeah, this is some great battling going on so far. Steven Tino has a run on. Can you pronounce it again for me real quick?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Chris Samet out. Chris Samet round exactly where we saw the accident in the first lap. Chris Samet just losing the car on traction branch. Easily done through turn 1.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like he may have just gone a little bit wide, and I think he was trying to rejoin the track and just didn't do it in a reliable way for his car. Now he's missing a front wing with an entire lap needed to replace it. So that's going to be a very painful trip around the track for him.
It really is, but Chris Samet is certainly known in this league for his ability to come back from adversity and keep battling to the end. We haven't had a safety car yet. We've got 5 laps run and 3 lots of penalties already. 1 DNF. We had a big moment into the first corner of the race already. It looks like Taylor getting a little bit impatient behind his teammate. Taylor already back up to P8 and is wanting Eat My Dust to get out of his way, really. He's got a lot more pace. He's down the inside. No. Yes, he got Pi around the outside of the start-finish straight, so made it work one way or the other.
Yeah, Steven Tino looks like he just lost a few places. I don't know what happened there, but he fell back behind Harv, who just hit the fast lap. Oh, and he almost went into the back of him there, missing his braking point completely. Steven Tino almost took a lot of drivers out of the race right there.
Interesting difference in the way the cars decided to tackle this first few laps and first sector of the race. Several of the fastest drivers, by virtue of being on inters during quali, have elected for medium tyres. H. Taylor, I was expecting to be on softs and able to battle back, but he's battling back against soft runners, and he's up to P6 and he's on medium tyres. So what's the best strategy around here, Branch?
I believe you can do a pretty easy one-stop soft to medium.
Right.
So I would expect that if anyone's on mediums, they're likely planning on being on softs at the end of the race, which, you know, I don't know which strategy would necessarily be better. You know, obviously there isn't necessarily an on-paper advantage to start on softs and go to mediums versus starting on mediums and going on softs. I think a lot of the drivers are maybe wanting to just be faster at the end of the race.
Yeah.
Than having to be maybe a sitting duck.
Just to mention, Little Jim got up into second place, got past Lewis, but Lewis fighting back into turn 5, almost touching each other. That was very close. Lewis riding the exit curb, risking these treacherous exit curbs, but got by, and there's good traction out there if you can use it, Branch.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like a lot of these guys have grip right now. There hasn't been very many just on the whim spins that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
So there, and you know, when you have a lot of talented drivers out there with a lot of grip, you get to see a lot of great racing. That's what we're getting so far.
Mogi couldn't move off the line. The game glitched for him, Branch. So I haven't seen that one before, but that's got to be heartbreaking. At least he didn't spend 20 minutes in quali, only to crash out before the race even began, because that's even worse. Little Jim getting back past Lewis, and they're trading DRS sectors and trading overspeed. It's now back with Lewis. I love the way this track, Branch, hands DRS back to the person who's just lost out on a place. So many times we go to tracks and it's the opposite. The person with DRS gets by and then gets DRS on the way out as well.
Yeah, I really like the way that this track handles just the racing itself. It's very, very you have it, then I have it in terms of momentum. So I really love the way that this track works. That's why it's one of the favorites for the fans and for people who race on it.
And certainly for anybody who struggles to remember multiple corners, it's a lot easier. There's not many of them. But Lewis got back past Little Jim around the outside of turn 8, which it was a very, very nice move. That exit curb at turn 1, that's probably the trickiest moment the drivers are going to get on this lap, Branch.
Yeah, I would say so. We're seeing some very interesting battling going on between Taylor and Harv, two of the fastest drivers on circuit. and Taylor is trying to use as many cars as possible to stop Harv, but Harv keeps getting past them. They are working their way through the field at the moment. And going into turn 4, It's going to be side-by-side racing. Oh.
That was close. Puts himself in the Perez position on the outside of that turn. Just daring the guy on the inside to make a mistake. Taylor tries to take his racing line and clatters into Harv. These guys, I know they're pretty good friends off track, but they may have words to say about that afterwards, because that looked a little rude, Branch.
Yeah, he looked like he was just really trying to make his presence known right there, and maybe did it in a little bit too aggressive of a way, but nonetheless, Harvest on the inside right here, going into the final quarter, not a place where you expect to pass, but he got by nonetheless.
Oh, lovely move, yeah. Fantastic. Cooperation needed from Taylor there, and you know, Taylor doesn't lead the championship by taking too many risks, but yeah, let Harv by a little bit through the exit of the final corner. Looks like Lewis and Little Jim are trading places again. Lewis this time back ahead. 1/10 is all there is in it, as Little Jim gets by again using DRS. These guys, I don't think they're slowing each other down particularly. They've gapped for Tia. That's not coming down, but they're not catching CDM at this stage.
Yeah, this is just a simple DRS battle. It looks like they're really just trading the places on the straights and not losing too much time in the corners, which is helping them gap the rest of the field, essentially putting themselves in a battle for the podium, disregarding any chance of a safety car, which we haven't received yet.
No, it's lap 10. I hope we can make it through to at least 1/3 distance with racing laps. It'd be fantastic switchback of positive karma if we could make a race without a safety car. Fatia catches another penalty, and we're racking up the track limits penalties. Another big challenge for the drivers, as Lewis gets by Little Jim again, is avoiding those apex and exit curb track penalties around here, Branch.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get those if you're not careful. You know, you obviously want to go flat out all the time, but when you do that, you do risk just going a little bit wide in any one of the sections of this track and taking a warning. And obviously, as you know, 3 warnings is a 3-second penalty, and those can rack up very quickly if you're not careful.
Right, absolutely. Down in 16th place, I'm just looking at the deltas. Chris Sammer is 50 seconds off the lead. We're almost at 1/3 distance, and he's going to need some help from a caution period, as we see Lewis head into the pits. So trying an undercut potentially on Little Jim here. We'll see where he feeds out.
Yeah, I will pay attention to see what kind of tires he goes on. We could see the hard tires, although I would probably expect more soft to medium options. Although it looks like he's going on to... Oh, he's going into another set of softs, so a 2-stop essentially guaranteed for It's Lewis now, as he will have to go on to another set of tires before this race is over.
Absolutely. Do you think the drivers at the moment on those soft tires are trying to hold out for a safety car? We've seen Paul Harrison go in as well. We've seen Golden Wolf and Safkov, Martin have all gone in and changed off soft tyres. Paul Harrison's gone back on them exactly the same as Lewis. Maybe they know something we don't, Branch, about the grip levels out there towards the end of the race.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a terrible strategy. They're going to be the fastest car on the track for most of this race with this strategy. I personally would have gone for the 1-stop, but you know, I'm not. I may be an experienced racer, but I'm not the best. So these guys probably know more than I do.
Well, they could. We could fill a whole show tonight, Branch, with things that the drivers know that I don't know. I just enjoy watching racing cars. So an interesting slight variance. Oh, round goes. I think is that Golden Wolf just turned the car around. Spun out of turn 10, I think it was, or turn 9. But yeah, turned the car around and lost a few places. Just happened to be watching with Mitch as he got by. Harv's in the pits, so he's getting rid of those soft tyres.
Harv actually was in the pits for a front wing change. I didn't see where he got the damage, but he did get his front wing changed and is out onto the soft tires now.
Zach is in the chat suggesting half for the win before that happened. I don't know, Zach, does that change your mind a little bit, or do you still think half's got it in him to win this race? It's lap 13. CDM is out there keeping around a 2-second gap roughly. Little Jim is in second place after several people have pitted. Those two drivers have gone up to 13 laps now without pitting. Let's see what they're doing. I think CDM's going to make it. Where is he right now? No, he's just come out of turn 1, so I wonder if it's about time to get rid of those soft tyres, in which case H. Taylor, after that drama on the first lap, may well inherit the lead.
Yeah, it's getting pretty close to that time where they're going to change those tires. Obviously, the tire wear isn't really that bad here in Austria, so you can kind of hurt the tires a little bit in a way.
Yeah.
And it be fine. There are obviously 13 laps on soft tires. We don't see that very often at any tracks in this game.
Right.
But I think there is a little bit of tire management going on with that. I personally probably would have pit already. 12 laps tends to be around the good time. It looks like CDM is not going to come in, so one more lap for him. Lil Jim also staying out.
Interesting. So, I mean, if Lewis is able to put the laps together at the moment and he's in clear track, this is going to really help him in his bid to battle with Little Jim in the pits at least. We said to watch him because he was right behind Little Jim. We saw all those back and forth battles. That 3-second penalty is not going to help for Lewis though.
That's really unfortunate. That
and there he is, fastest lap with a penalty. So he's leaning on the car no end. Yeah.
Yeah. At the moment, I think he would actually overtake Lil Jim with the undercut. The problem is that he's going to have to be a lot faster because he will have to pit again. So, in reality, even though he will be undercutting Lil Jim, he still is behind him on paper.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's easily done, and you know, there we have our race leader picks up a penalty. Almost taking him off the lead. This is the problem with running those tyres a little bit long. Branch, he stays out again.
Lil Jim's coming in.
Interesting. Let's hang with Little Jim as he goes through the pits, and we'll see how he feeds out relative to Lewis. Say Lewis only a few tenths behind him at the time that they pitted. I think we're going to get more penalties through this race, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this call by Lil Jim may have been precipitated by the penalty from CDM. Thinking maybe if he can get out in front of him in this pit stop with the penalty that CDM has, he'll be in a much better position for this race. Lil Jim did come out onto medium tires, so it's possible he's going to the end of the race on these tires. Right,
absolutely. And there Lewis gained probably 4.7, 4.8 seconds with a 2 or 3 lap undercut. Branch, amazing.
Yeah, that was a pretty good undercut. He's looking really fast on those soft tires right now, but with the penalty he has, he's only 1.5 seconds ahead at the moment.
Sure.
So he's gonna have to get a move on.
Yeah, because he's got another pit stop to make, as you rightly pointed out earlier. He went onto those soft tyres, but CDM still out there. What does he do this time? This time it's a pit stop. Yeah. So let's see where he comes out against Lewis, and just to prove that that the race isn't over after one corner. H. Taylor inherits the lead after that dramatic first corner incident on the inside grass of the exit of turn 1. So there he is in the lead on lap 17 from Fatia, who, along with Eat My Dust, who goes in the pits right now. The only drivers yet to pit. So these guys on these mediums, I'd be surprised if they had to pit now. 16 laps.
Yeah, I think
should be able to go to 20 or 21 maybe, but. I'm kind of surprised to see Eat My Dust head into the pits at this point.
Yeah, we mentioned Lil Jim trying to get the undercut on CDM. He didn't quite get it, but he is in DRS range at the moment. They are both on the medium tires, so I think Lil Jim is going to want to make it a big deal of his to get past CDM as quick as possible so he can get on with the rest of his race.
Yeah, where we see another penalty this time for AJM. So they're racking up. We've got more than half the field with penalties at this point. I think they were all multiples of 3. I don't think we've had any major pit lane penalties or anything. We've seen
Yeah.
Chris Samet has dropped 11 places from the front of the race, and Fatir has gained 9 at this stage, although still with that pit stop to make. Taylor, no penalty. Little Jim and Paul Harrison, probably the strongest contenders at this stage of the race.
Yeah, I'd have to say that. 1 second.
So, just watching then with Little Jim hounding CDM. Looks like Little Jim's got a little bit better pace in the medium tyres than Chris Samet had at the start of the race, as they compare with each other. This is probably one of the closest battles on the grid. We've got Eat My Dust pretty close up there with Harv as well. Let's have a look how those guys are getting on.
My apologies, I had to answer the door real quick.
No worries. Yeah, we've got a couple of close battles right now. Little Jim and CDM, and Eat My Dust and Harv. Harv picks up a penalty though, his second penalty of the evening. Really adding up now for Harv. Not showing to be the one of his great races, I guess. I think he's reserving tonight, hence the slightly different livery. But he has got a fair amount of blue on. A big lunge, a late move from Little Jim was unsuccessful into turn 4. He'll try again though, because he was still behind at the DRS detection. I think he's too far behind as they head down into turn 5. Yeah.
He does seem to be a lot quicker than CDM, at least down the straights. He just has to be able to stay close enough in these corners to make the move. It's not necessarily that difficult to do here, but you just have to do it.
No, absolutely. It looks like to me that that Little Jim has got a little bit better setup for these mediums than CDM. Although, having said that, CDM just starting to eke away slightly. Taylor's still out there in the lead of the race. Hasn't pitted yet, but we don't expect him for another lap or two maybe. So Harv picks up a third penalty. It's full send from Harv, but it's not going to get him a strong points finish. Little Jim just consolidating his overspeed, not making a move, and looking to fight down the second DRS zone. I think CDM's giving him the inside. There's not much point battling that one. Through they go. CDM looking for a good exit.
Didn't quite get it, and I think this might be Little Jim's position, at least until we get to the next DRS zone.
Yeah, Little Jim though, he'll be hoping to try and stretch the gap he's got sufficiently to dissuade any further issue and battle from CDM. Where's Chris Samet right now? Chris Samet down in 13th. Hasn't gained a great deal of places. One of our early high-paced drivers. Were you just going to talk about Taylor in the pits, Branch?
Yeah, our leader has pit 4 soft tires, so it looks like he's probably going to the end of the race with 15 laps left. That's around the amount that the guys who started on those soft tires went. So,
yeah, still going to have to manage that wear a little bit though, right?
Yeah, he will have to manage it a little bit, because at the end of this race, I expect his tires will be around 50 to 60% worn. If he's pushing them really hard, they could get to 70, and that could be very dangerous, and obviously not very good for his pace, so he will have to do a little bit of tire saving at the beginning, but still, he's going to have to be quick if he wants to win this race, because at the moment, he's behind Lil Jim and CDM, who are going to the end on the tires that they're on currently.
Sure, absolutely. You've got Fatir out there in the front of the field. He's driven very well tonight. He's heading into the pits now, so he's hanging on for a potential caution period under which to pit. Has not worked out brilliantly, but he's about on schedule, and will have a slightly easier time of it preserving those tyres as Lewis and Little Jim, CDM scream past down the start-finish straight. CDM locked on the back of Little Jim again. Whereas Little Jim, I think his eyes will be firmly on Lewis ahead, but he can't quite get into DRS zone. He will probably get it now as CDM gives him a little tap and reminds him that he's got pace and he's behind him, Branch.
Yeah, I'm wondering when It's Lewis is going to decide to go ahead and go into the pits, because if he waits too long, and starts losing pace on those soft tires, then that last stint will just be a complete recovery drive from him. Obviously, will have to be that nonetheless, but I think the earlier he gets in on those to get onto those medium tires, I think the quicker he'll be in terms of overall pace for the rest of the race.
Yeah, he's got 14 laps to go, so that's about perfect for an aggressive two-stop. There he goes.
Lewis is in.
Lewis goes in, so we'll see him shed those soft tyres and get himself pitted to the end. Dare I say it, still no safety car on lap 23, Branch, but doing very well tonight. I wonder if someone turned down a setting, maybe. I should have a look.
We are commentators, and commentator curse does exist.
True. Taylor put in the fastest lap just then. So on soft tyres to the end, he's not managing them exactly by pushing for a fastest lap on lap 23. That's the kind of thing you do when you know how much wear you've got left at the end of the race. But maybe he just wants to log that fastest lap point. What's his margin at the moment? It's fairly significant. Yeah, it's probably 7/10 faster than anybody else has been so far today at a quick glance. So maybe it's a good, sensible time to do it. CDM now 3/10 behind Little Jim, and this is a battle for genuine race position now that we've shaken out of our pit stops.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, H. Taylor's going to be obviously quicker, at least for these first few laps that he's on these soft tires. So while the guys at the front and Little Jim and CDM do want to battle with each other, they do have to keep in mind that Taylor's going to be faster than both of them, and they might need to work together a little bit if they want to keep the battle for the lead.
Yeah, I agree. The one issue here is going to be that CDM is racing with 3 seconds of penalties, so he needs to get by and then get further down the road from Little Jim, or hope that he can pressurize Little Jim into another mistake. Taylor still running without a penalty, as is Paul Harrison, and it looks like the car's just lapping one of the red drivers, possibly Zepedro, I'm not sure, but yeah, just getting by one of the red team. Quite some speed differential to be lapping on lap 24, Branch. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if that's due to spins or just overall pace difference, but yeah, it is pretty weird to see all of these guys getting lapped already.
So just a little bit further down, we'll stay with Little Jim and CDM, but to keep you abreast of where things are happening at the moment, Lewis is driving pretty quickly and is catching the back of Harv, who's on a crazy amount of penalties. Lewis, fastest lap, there we go, perfect timing. And we get a tyre performance graphic to show that it's the left side of the cars that is really losing grip, and about 27% on these medium tyres for the front two as their furthest one tyre, Branch. Is that an alarm bell they need to be concerned with to get another 11 laps out of these?
I think at the end of the day, it's really just down to driver, the way the driver's feeling the car, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a brain fart there for a second.
No sweat. Harv is able to get DRS on Lewis at the moment, which is helping him defend from Eat My Dust. But these three drivers are starting to join together on track, and when we get three drivers on track at the same time, Branch, we start getting a little bit squirmy and worried that things are going to happen. There goes Harv again, last corner on the outside, and catches another penalty and goes up to 15 seconds. I believe the limit is in the mid-20s when you get disqualified.
I haven't seen anyone get that many penalties in a race before, so I'm not exactly sure. Oh, Lewis, big dive bomb there. Harv got past him in the braking zone, and Lewis tried to come back at him, but even
he'll get DRS.
Yeah, he'll get DRS and be able to make a pass down the straight, unless Harv decides to make a move in the braking zone. Doesn't seem to quite have enough momentum to do that. Pretty
smooth. It's quite easy to defend on the outside of that turn because the traction is so much better on the left side of the exit of the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. CDM still hanging within that 1 second window
Yeah.
from Lil Jim, and Taylor is slowly, as we have a VSC. I don't know where that came from.
Oh,
Looks like
there we
Martin,
go. And Half dives into the pits. As soon as the VSC was called, he had a very fortuitous timing of that lap. I don't know if he'll pay any of those penalties off. I don't think so. They're all multiples of 3, and he heads out there on soft tyres to the end of the race.
Yeah, that's good timing for him, I guess. Not going to be losing too much time. Obviously, he will have to make up as much time as possible if he wants to keep those positions.
Yeah.
We see a lot of people actually diving into the pits right now.
Yeah, we got to Eat My Dust, Mosher, Golden Wolf. Those guys have all gone in. Half, as we mentioned, I think the leading two didn't have that option. We're back to green flag racing now. Little Jim in the lead from CDM on lap 27 of 36. So the green team could do with a winner's haul of points. They're in 3rd place in the championship at the moment, with the rest of the drivers pretty well spread. A good showing so far for the yellow team.
Yeah, they're having a great race. It's Lewis is really having a good race in the 2-stop strategy. I think he still holds the fastest lap, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, great showing from them so far. Let's see if Lewis can pick up any more positions. He does have 3 seconds of penalties, as does the guy in front of him.
Yeah.
So, if he's able to catch him, that battle would be for position.
Yeah, and he's got a good gap behind him to Paul Harrison as well. We haven't seen, and there goes Paul Harrison, just to neaten up that string of penalty notifications we've got on the side of the grid tower, just to make sure that everyone's got a penalty now. So just at the moment, Little Jim in the lead of the race, racing without a penalty. I don't know if you can see how close Little Jim, Taylor are to getting penalties, Branch, how many they've got on Race Director. We've got Golden Wolf, Chris Samet, typically driving a hard-fought, clean race without scoring a penalty, and SR Sanchez. Out of our 18 runners, we have 5 without penalties. It looks like Little Jim really struggling to get by the ghost of a blue car who's currently on soft tyres. It really is on the driver being lapped to get out of the way, because the dirty air still takes effect, Branch.
Yeah, and going back to what you mentioned earlier, Lil Jim is on 2 warnings and Taylor is on 1. So
very interesting.
Lil Jim is having to be a little bit more cautious with the way he's driving, to avoid that penalty. Taylor can be a little bit more aggressive, but at the same time, it's very easy to get 2 warnings in back-to-back corners if you're not careful. So even with the fact that he has a warning to spare, he does have to be very careful with where he's placing his car.
Navigating lap cars makes avoiding penalties all the more difficult. So much respect to Little Jim for the drive at the moment. He's still pushing on that exit curb of the final corner, and actually he's reserved quite a lot of ERS. He's on 35-40%. It's hovering around. The ghost car underlaps itself again. It's not cool. He needs to let it get away. I think that's cost him a little bit of time, because he's just lost a fair amount to CDM. 42-43% tyre wear at this point on the left-hand side for both the leading pair. 4/10. I think CDM Little Jim is able to stretch this out once he's in clear air. But that lap car has still got back away from him. So unfortunately he's coming up to lap a car that's got good pace on soft tyres.
Yeah, it's really hurting him, and with all of this happening, Taylor is almost a second behind CDM at this point. He does have the position on CDM through penalties.
Right.
But he's going to have to get past that car if he wants to get the lead from Little Jim, so even with that penalty, he's still going to have to do some battle.
Yeah, this one's warming up to the end, isn't it, Branch, with H. Taylor recovering from a difficult first corner, back up to 3rd, potentially already in 2nd by penalties, and he's on a hunt. He's on the hunt now for a win. He's on soft tyres, and he's got to make his pace count right now, because I kind of predict that both Taylor and the leading pair are going to hit the same cliff at the same time.
Yeah, the way their tires are right now, they're getting to that point where their tires are going to start falling off. Taylor's I'm thinking may fall off a little bit harder than Little Jim's, but nonetheless, they're both going to be lacking grip, as will CDM, who is only on 1 lap fresher tires than Little Jim. But nonetheless, they're all going to be struggling, and it's just really a game of who struggles the least over these last 5 laps.
Yeah, keeping it on the island is going to be a real challenge for the drivers at this late stage of the race. The top 3 managing their tyre wear as best as they can. What are the drivers doing to reduce? Little Jim catches that penalty, so that just hands the advantage to H. Taylor, who hopefully is still on that 1 warning. H. Taylor, the de facto leader right now.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that warning real quick, if he has another one. Oh, he does have another one, so H. Taylor is playing a close game right now. He's going to have to be extremely cautious, but at the moment, I think the best thing for him is to just sit behind these guys and not get a penalty. Yeah,
it's not the best thing for us watching, but certainly if he wants that win, I think his teammates just got out of his way finally. Was really causing him some issues, but I'm not sure that Taylor's going to be happy with that. I think most drivers would want to win the race on the track, regardless of penalties. But we have seen before, fairly recently as well, a driver during a battle with another driver at the end of a race get pushed into a penalty situation and have the race result put under question into the steward's office branch.
Yeah, this is going to be very close. It looks like Taylor is at least trying to catch up to CDM. He's right on the back of him now. So maybe we'll be able to make a move down the straight. CDM is almost completely out of ERS. Taylor makes the move to the inside, getting pushed down. They hit the bump. He's down in braking. CDM side by side with him. And it looks like Taylor will just about get the position and is now on the hunt for Lil Jim.
Fantastic sequence by the drivers, and brilliant for Taylor not to lose any time in that battle, because he managed to get the DRS from the car of Little Jim ahead of him, even after passing CDM.
Yeah, it seems like he is faster than both of the medium tire runners around him right now. It's just a matter of when his tires are going to hit that cliff.
So I'm seeing... Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm seeing 48% on H. Taylor's soft tyres and 54% on Little Jim's medium tyres at this stage.
Yeah, so they're getting pretty close. Around 50% is around when you start to really feel the tires. You do feel them a little bit around 20 to 30, but when you get to 50, it gets to a point where they become a little bit undrivable.
Yeah.
In a sense. And
you're in that negative spiral of dive bomb from H. Taylor. He's really gone for it. Down into
switchback. Right, and Little Jim is not going to have the DRS.
Interesting. They must have passed detection level, because neither of them are using DRS down their branch, unless potentially Little Jim forgot to press it.
I'm not sure, but either way, Lil Jim is now in second place and behind by 3.5 seconds if you count the penalty, with just 3 laps to go. At this point, with Taylor in the lead, he's really now needs to just be careful.
Right, he needs to not get that penalty. I mean, he could actually get a penalty, but he needs to, keep those tyres alive to the best of his ability. What is he going to be doing, Branch? He's going to be short shifting on the way out of corners to save those tyres?
Yeah, I would expect a lot of short shifting, a lot of maybe even a little bit early braking, just to make sure that he is not overshooting any corners. Yeah, if he's gonna, those tires are getting really close to the end of their life, and he's going to have to make sure that they don't. I don't think they'll get a puncture because he's not that far into the percentages, but he's gonna have to be careful. As AJM is out of the race in Sector 3, I didn't get to see what happened there.
No, and Steven Tino picks up a penalty at the same time. I wonder if... I don't think they had anything to do with each other. They were sufficiently distant on track, but maybe Steven Tino avoiding whatever issue AJM had. Three drivers out at this stage of the race. No safety car. We're into the final 2 laps, and that's a great great situation to be in. On lap 35, it's H. Taylor from Little Jim, CDM, Fatia, and Lewis are your top 5. Lewis doing great work for the yellow team. CDM gets by Little Jim into the final corner, and they're on 61 and 57% tyre wear at this point. Man, these tyres are going to be feeling really difficult to work with.
What's happening to little Jim here? It looks like he's slowing down. Did he run out of gas? I think he may have run out of fuel.
He has. He has.
And he just got a 10-second penalty for extending.
Oh, the green team are not going to thank him for underfueling the car.
Oh, no.
Potentially relying on a safety car. Yeah, we're saying the same thing. H. Taylor's fuel light is flashing, so he may need to be wary of that. But he's on the final lap. He could probably roll the car down the hill after turn 6. I think it's pretty much downhill from that point. But Taylor, at the moment, looking like he's got this one. But that issue hit little Jim right at the death, and he's going to tumble down the grid. He's now got 13 seconds of penalties as well as Taylor rounds the penultimate corner. 0 penalties. Dramatic first corner. What a recovery drive from H. Taylor to win in Austria. Showboat finish. Crosses the line almost at a standstill. CDM crosses the line behind him in second place. Then Fatia with a great drive for the green team in third. And then we have, making up our fourth colour in the top 4, I think Lewis is going to get this one, Branch. He does get it, and Harv will plummet down the field with 15 seconds of penalties as long as Paul Harrison can cross the line. He can. Paul Harrison 5th. Harv will stay ahead of little Jim, it looks like. Drama right at the death there, Branch.
Oh man, that is such an unfortunate end, and little Jim is still losing places because of his penalty. Oh, that's gotta be such a painful way for you to end your race, and I guarantee he knew all along that he was going to run out of fuel, and he just... Sometimes it's very difficult to save fuel in this game, especially if you underfuel expecting a safety car. So this must have been just a slow burn for him, where he probably knew at some point he was going to run out, and he was just waiting for it to happen.
That might be the last time he underfuels the car, banking on a safety car. It's certainly something I'd always be pretty nervous of. I tend to overfuel by half a lap to a lap, but we've already established my lack of credentials in racing. Driver of the day goes to Fatia, and we'll have a chat about that. But it'd be pretty cool if we could try and get the other guys on to a quick chat, because we've had no safety cars, so we're actually going to finish early tonight. H. Taylor hasn't changed that terrible suit. But it's working for him at the moment, and he gets the win tonight for the red team from CDM, racing for Russia with at least a blue accent on his race suit, which is good to see.
Yeah, I like that race suit.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, little Jim posting a GIF from The Office you'll probably be familiar with, but he takes it. So you take us through the standings, if you will, Branch. Dramatic race.
As we talked about, H. Taylor with one of the most dramatic races of anyone, finishing without any penalties after a first lap collision. CDM in second place, and Fatir, who had a very quiet race, ends up on the podium. So great job by him. It's Lewis in fourth place, one of the two-stoppers, the best two-stopper actually, followed by Paul Harrison of the red team. Harv, who had a mountain of penalties, is still able to pull out a sixth place finish, so good job for him. Eat My Dust, finishing 7th. Lil Jim, as we talked about, unfortunately losing fuel, finishing a position behind where he started. Steven Tino finishing 9th, and then rounding at the top 10 is Mosh, and the rest of them, Mr. Spin, Savkov, Chris, Golden Wolf, Mitch, Sanchez, Zer Pedro, and AJM, Martin, and Mogi are the DNFs.
Yeah, but a great race. 20 starters. I think we had 17 finishes. Fantastic stuff. Really, really good racing from everybody. If we can try and get H. Taylor, CDM maybe. I know CDM is representing Russia, so may not want to chat on audio, but we'll try. Fantastic race.
I have to go to my class now, so I will to leave. But it was a good time.
Oh, great. Well, thanks for stopping by, Branch. Good to have you on stream, and as always. And I hope you enjoyed that one.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, man. Well, everyone, I'm just looking to try and get any reviews from anybody, and I'll read them out if they come through. and then I'll have a little go and see if I can't get H Taylor and CDM into a chat. Let's have a look, see what we can do. Just bear with me on stream for a minute, and I'll try and get hold of them. If I can't, I can't, and we won't belabor the point too much. Let's see if I can get anybody. But what a cracking race that was, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you're still with us on the stream, let us know what you thought. Who was your driver of the day? Who was your who did you enjoy watching? Did you catch something on the stream that we missed or didn't talk about? Any questions for our drivers? It'd be great to hear from you all on that front. I'm not able to find H Taylor at the moment online. He may have disappeared on me already. What have we got already? So Harv. No real review to speak of. I've got Little Jim saying he had a good race and wish he'd done medium soft instead, but ran out of fuel. As of course we saw him run out of fuel, unfortunately. Yeah, he ran out of fuel at the end. CDM, he said easy peasy lemon squeezy, so he's enjoyed that one no end, I'm sure. That's the drivers I've seen at the moment, at least the ones I can read out. You know how it goes at the end of a race, and people are a little bit vocal with each other. A little word of advice. I think it must have been Chris Samet who was driving around on soft tyres in the blue team, because Little Jim's calling him out and saying kind of a little bit in the way there for us. So I guess that's to be expected. We did see that towards the third third of the race, seeing the drivers struggling to lap their respective slower cars who were on faster tyres at the time, while the leading group were all on a tyre preservation run at the end. Very, very difficult. Yeah, I'm seeing empty fuel gifts coming in for Little Jim. Some from himself. Yeah, a great race. Very typical of the boys at OBF1, and I have to say I'm very sad to be leaving the league, and I will be keeping in touch with how the teams get on and how things progress through the rest of this season. It's been a pleasure to commentate this league for you to this point, and I hope we can catch each other again another day down the line. Unfortunately, just an unavoidable clash has come up for me. Thank you for 5 cracking races in the Power Ranger League. I'm going to call it that and see if it sticks. Do tune in again this time next week, Monday night, 8 p.m. In the UK, and you'll catch the next instalment of this awesome little championship they've set up for team battles. Thanks everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying to the end. Remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel if at all possible, and I will catch you all on the next race day.